Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World. We're in Salzburg, Austria, one of the cutest towns you can definitely come to here in Europe. And a lot of people come here on their first trip to Europe. And so today what we have for you are kind of 11 tips or 11 little things you should know about Europe before you come so you can have a better trip. And this is really for those first-time travelers to Europe so you know some of the differences out there to get you more ready. Now, the first thing you probably want to know about some of the differences is the toilet in Europe. Yes, you can still sit down in the toilets in Europe. That's not a problem. Only once in a blue moon will you find a hole in the ground, like a porcelain hole to go potty in. You're gonna have the same toilets, but the thing is, it's the flushing that's a little different. In the US, you know, we have that little handle we pull down on. Here, you usually have buttons. A small button, that small button is for number one, okay, if you gotta go pee, and the big button is if you have a big job, okay? Sometimes you also see like a 1 dot and then 2 dots. Well, 1 dot is for number 1, 2 dots is for number 2, okay? Another thing is if you're going to public toilets, not everywhere in Europe, but some places in Europe, they do pay for toilets. You know, you have to pay to go in, maybe 50 cents or €1, but that usually means they're pretty clean. And I would say overall, public toilets in Europe are way cleaner than the US. Like, I don't feel like I'm gonna get some disease going to the bathroom here as I do in some places, roadside places in the US, okay? So first thing is a little different are the toilets. So be ready for those buttons. And some you actually have to hold the button down until everything goes away and then you let the water off, okay? The second thing you should know about when you come to Europe is you're going to walk a lot. You'll see Europeans are walking a lot. They're in really good shape. They don't look like me, okay? They're walking, they're fit and all these things. And when you travel here, you will do the walking too. You're not driving around. You're not taking taxis everywhere. You're walking. So if you're coming here for the first time, make sure you're practicing your walking. You know, do some walks at home around the block. Start around the block, then around the neighborhood to get ready for when you come here. Also, make sure you have good shoes. Now, don't buy new shoes the day before you go because those are going to kill your feet. Make sure you break your shoes in before you come because believe me, you will be doing a lot of walking here. Now, the third thing you should know is if you don't want to do walking, and probably if you do walking, you're going to do this, is the public transport. European public transport overall is very, very good. Buses, trams, metros, subways, suburban trains, they go everywhere and they're super simple to use. But the thing is, you gotta know where to buy the tickets. Now, most of them you can buy tickets like on buses and trams. You can buy tickets from the driver. Metros, they usually have a machine or you can talk to a person and buy it from them. But most of the time it's gonna be a little kiosk, a little, you know, personless thing where you put your money in or your credit cards in and buy it there. But just know in places like, you know, for example, Berlin or Munich, you can just walk onto the metro or walk onto the suburban train and no one checks your ticket and you think, oh, well, that's free. Well, no, it's not. Sometimes they have people that are walking through checking to see if people have tickets, and if you get caught, they don't care if you know sprechen Sie Deutsch. You know, they'll still fine you. I found that out a long time ago, and you will get fined, and they will not take any pity on you because you are a foreigner. So make sure you know you do have to buy the tickets, and a lot of times you have to there'll be a little machine and you have to validate it. Okay, it's a little punch thing to say it works. That's the next thing is the public transport, you will use it, but you got to get tickets for it, okay? And validate them. Now, the fourth thing you might want to know is, look, here in Europe, a lot of people do speak English, so you will be fine with that, especially in the tourist industry, but not everybody does speak English here. So wherever you're going to go, learn a few words, because it really makes life so much easier if you know, and we're here in Austria, so when you walk in a store, you say Grüß Gott, which is greetings to God, which means hello, okay, when you come in, and make sure you know how to say please, bitte, and thank you, danke. And we have videos on all these basic words and stuff like that when you travel, but just knowing a few words can really open a lot of doors and make people a lot more helpful, especially in places like France. I mean, I just go in and say, oh, pardon, je suis idiot, je ne parle pas français. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot, I don't speak French. Then everybody helps me and they speak English, okay? So make sure you know a few words, even though most of the people do speak English here. And kind of with that is, you'll see that on public transport, the people here don't speak very loudly. It's very quiet on the train and the metros. I mean, not every. You go to Greece, they're kind of loud. In Italy, they're kind of loud. But in general, it's not normal to speak really loud in public and speak on the public transport. So make sure you're keeping yourself softer and you don't have to speak so loud. So that's the fifth thing. Now, the sixth thing you should know is when you're coming to Europe, look, cash is king in most of Europe, so make sure you can get cash out. If you're in Northern Europe, they love their cards, okay? And so you need to have a PIN number. So depending where you're gonna go will depend how you're gonna pay, all right? But it's always good to have some cash when you come over here. On average, what I found the best rate you get is you take your debit card from your home bank back in the US or wherever you're from, and the banks, for example, here in Salzburg, you go to one of the ATMs here, and you take out money that way. And that's what I've always found got me the best exchange rate. Now, if you're coming the first time and you're worried your bank card might not work, call your bank to let them know you're gonna go. But also you might wanna bring some money over with you. There are exchange houses here, or exchange some money before you come over so you have some in your pocket. Like I always come over with a couple €100 in my pocket. So just in case something goes wrong, I know I can get to my hotel and have the first couple days paid for. The 7th thing you should know about coming to Europe is Europeans, they don't bite. Okay, the people here aren't some kind of exotic creature to look at and go, ooh, lederhosen. No, the people in Europe are very wonderful and they want to help you because they love their countries. They're very patriotic here. So if you get lost, ask somebody for directions. If you want to know where a good bar is, or you want to know where the nightclubs are, a good restaurant, or where you should go shopping, ask a local. And that might be the concierge at your hotel or the front desk of your hotel or somebody you meet at a restaurant or a bar or on the street. People are usually very helpful here. And remember, maybe they don't speak a little English, but they'll be a lot helpful. So don't be scared of them, okay? You can talk to the French, they're okay. You can talk to the Italians. Even if they don't speak English, they'll still communicate with you, no problem, okay? The 8th thing you should know before you come here is, look, in the US, you're used to customer is king. The customer is always right. Service is always there. Would you like a free refill? Would you like this? In Europe, it's not the case. The customer isn't king. Service isn't the same in Europe as is it in the US. Okay, they don't care as much about the customer. They're not coming back to you. And no, there's no free refills in Europe. I'm sorry, but there's no free refills. And so what you should know is, hey, don't expect the over-the-top, I love you, please make my life better by giving me a big tip. Food culture, eating out culture, tipping culture, you have in the US, you don't have that here. And therefore the service isn't as good. However, you can still get very professional service and sometimes very nice people and stuff like that, no problem. And also tipping is a country by country thing. For example, here in Austria, they make a good wage, but you still tip about 10%. Germany, they make a good wage, you tip maybe 5 to 10%. You know, if you go to, you go to Sweden, you don't really tip and they make a good wage. So you kind of see there's a differences where you go. And we have videos on lots of countries comparing Austria to the US or Belgium to the US. And you can see, do I tip? How do I eat? These kind of things. And that'll help you out. But just know, service, you're not king here, okay? The 9th thing you should know are the elevators. Now in the US, you're used to taking elevators everywhere. I'll just tell you now, make sure you get a few laps on the Stairmaster before you get here because you are going to be walking up a lot of steps here. Europe is not super handicap accessible or limited mobility accessible, okay? So get ready for lots of steps, but also the elevators here are a lot smaller, okay? You're not gonna get a family of 4 in the elevator at the hotel. You'll get 2 and maybe a piece of luggage up there, okay? And don't be surprised if you got an elevator, we have to actually pull the middle door open to get out. Now, no, it's not everywhere, but just one of those things, be ready for it, okay? Also, a lot of times in Europe, the ground floor isn't 1. 1 is the first floor up. So if you got a room that says, 128, you're like, oh, I'm on the ground floor. No. You're on the first floor, i.e. the 2nd floor in the US. So you got to walk up a flight, okay? The 10th thing that I see a lot of people do is they go to open a door and they walk into it, or they don't know which way to go, and they'll walk away from the door and not go into the store. What you'll see is when you come here, some doors are push, some are pull, some you're just not sure, and it doesn't always make sense. So if there's a place you want to go in and you see people there and you can't get the door to open, instead of push, try pull. Instead of pull, try push. It sounds super silly, but I've seen people all over here like walk into doors because they thought it was a push and just went bam, okay? So be careful with that. And the 11th thing I'd like you to know before you come is, look, when you get hotel rooms and you get a single room, a lot of time it's a single bed, like a twin bed, okay? If you get a double room, it's 2 single beds. It's not like when you go to the Holiday Inn and get a double room which has 2 big queen beds or king beds. Hotels here are much smaller. The rooms are smaller, the bathrooms are smaller, all kinds of stuff, okay? So just know the beds are going to be smaller, and also if you get a double bed, it's basically 2 twins pushed together, and there might be a crack in the middle that you might lose your children, which we have before. And actually, I think I lost my dad once too in the crack. So just so you know, those are some of the little differences before you come, and then they're not going to be such shocks when you get here. So it's a nice little easy, oh, okay, now I know some of these little differences, so I'm better prepared. What are some other tips that you have for people on their first trip to Europe? Please put in the comment section below so we can help other travelers have better times abroad. If you like videos like this, we have 10 things that'll shock you about Austria, 5 things you'll love and hate about going to America, tips on travel hacks and ways not to get ripped off, all on our website at woltersworld.com, and also here on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/woltersworld. So if you click that subscribe button down there, we've got 1 or 2 travel videos coming out every week, so why not sign up? Anyway, we thank you for your time. We say Auf Wiedersehen from Salzburg in front of the cathedral here, or the Dome. Tschüss, so Auf Wiedersehen. Bye-bye.